Am I the only one literally feeling like right now? Me and anxiety right now. Ooh. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Anxiety levels have shot up. Every time I feel a tickle in my throat. I know the anxiety and health anxiety is real. I would just like to preface this by saying that I am not a medical professional. This is all very anecdotal in my experience and how I cope. If you have any other questions about how to manage, or if you feel that anything is wrong, please do reach out to your GP, a medical professional, or call 111 to double check with them, corroborate everything with a professional. This is something that I've had or coped with for years and years, and so especially at a time like this, I feel like I have found some coping mechanisms that can help to deal with the surplus anxiety. So here are a few tips as to how I cope. Number one is to limit the constant stream of content. So you've got your Twitter, you've got your Instagram, you've got your Facebook feeds, you've got 5,000 notifications coming to your phone from all these news apps, all these numbers that you're constantly seeing what's going on across the world, constantly checking up on every single update. From those to your email, I found that it's okay to actually reduce your time that you're spending on these apps. It's okay to reduce your screen time if you need to, just to give yourself a breather. We all have to try to remain alert and not anxious, which is a constant phrase that I keep telling myself at times like this, which also means making sure that you get your news from reputable sources and not sometimes Dr. Google, which can send you into spiral. And so the thing about anxiety, sometimes it's different for everyone, but obviously in the case of mine is that it just looms. The aforementioned can actually exacerbate it. So I found just limiting my screen time and getting my news from particular sources helped me to relax a bit. For others wondering how you can be more helpful in this respect, I mean, things like panic buying can actually spur or trigger someone's anxiety, and it can actually be a result of anxiety. And so if you can, try not to hoard essentials for other people that may need to shop, and try to shop outside peak times. And another way you can help as well is by putting content notices or trigger warnings on your posts about this global pandemic, if you find that that may be helpful for other people consuming your own content. Number two is breathing exercises, and I mentioned this in my previous video, but they are actually so helpful. And obviously this depends on how well you are to be able to do this. So like I said, I'm not a medical professional. Corroborate with your GP or use your own discretion. When people will say breathe, sometimes it's like, oh, stop telling me to breathe. But it can help, and it can help to just slow things down. It kind of is that mindfulness meditation where you then switch the focus of your mind to the very process of breathing. But if you're like me, your anxiety is doing the most. What can happen with me is I feel like I've forgotten how to breathe. I feel like I can't breathe because I've forgotten how to breathe. And so because my anxiety has convinced me that I can't breathe, then I can't breathe. And so that's why as well, trying to manage that breathing with breathing exercises can be really helpful. For others wondering how you can help someone out in this respect, I would just say be kind to one another, smile to one another, and practice good hygiene in terms of stuff like coughing and sneezing in public. Use your elbow, do the dab, because it can trigger someone's anxiety if you're just coughing all over the place. We can all really take lots of steps to facilitate each other's anxiety levels and help to keep each other calm. Number three would be to reframe unhelpful thoughts. If you're like me, you're the most dramatic person in the world. Sometimes the majority of your thoughts are, sometimes statistics can frighten or they can calm. I use the perspective of 82% of cases are mild. That can be something to help to reframe the automatic I'm going to die. And if you are in a vulnerable group, I actually live with someone in a vulnerable group, and so I get anxiety about that as well. Also, again, I've reframed those unhelpful thoughts by reminding myself that there are resources that can support those people, that you are there as well to support that person. And so it's just about having faith in those resources, and also reframe unhelpful thoughts to look out for more positive news, such as the story of the 103-year-old grandmother who recovered from her case of COVID-19, and looking at the amazing stories of heroism from the amazing healthcare professionals. And if you want to be helpful to other people, please don't be the
it only affects this group of people, so I'm okay.
Please don't be that person. We know how the statistics look for people that are more vulnerable, but if you're regurgitating ableist and ageist rhetoric that frames those people as disposable, you are not helping at all. Stop with that. Number 4 is what I've touched on before, which is to call 111 or speak to your GP if you are concerned. My GP, in times of stress about my health, has been able to very much so reassure me. Obviously, having your concerns taken seriously is a different matter, but all I can do is hope that your concerns are being taken seriously and that person is able to help and facilitate you in answering your questions and hopefully lessening your anxiety. There are also multiple hotlines for anxiety and other mental health related things, which I will leave down below if you want to make use of those. Number 5 is that venting can actually help. I have used my Finsta, even all through my intermission period, to just vent how I feel about my own personal health outside of this. You can journal as well, and of course you can call a friend, but with calling a friend, just make sure that they have the capacity themselves to take that on and ask for permission to vent. If you're religious, prayer. Number 6, a useful tip that I found that's helped to kind of keep my anxiety in check is to use distractions. For me, one of the things has been exercise. I remember in the summer, actually, when I was really anxious about coming back to uni and if I would be able to do the year. Oh, the treadmill was oof. And so exercise has been a really helpful way of helping me to escape my anxiety, if that makes sense. Also, you might want to develop a hobby or to watch something or read something. And so there are multiple forms of distraction that you can use. Sometimes help to facilitate a brief escape from everything that you may be feeling. I know that many of you are anxious about your A-levels, about uni work, and I really empathize with you all. I would say if you're really anxious in an academic sense, I think it's important to remember that reading in any capacity, whether it's non-fiction or fiction, can facilitate you, and so you don't have to be doing hours and hours and hours. You might just read a book that you like or a book that you've always wanted to read, and that has been something that's really helped me to keep my anxiety in check and keep my anxiety about feeling that I'm not doing anything or not being productive. As I've mentioned in my previous video, reading has helped me to actually feel that actually I am doing something productive. And as well, if you are anxious about academia, please do reach out to your teachers and any authority or member of staff that may be able to facilitate your questions about what's happening. It's okay to remind yourself that we just have to wait and see what happens. Everyone across the world has the context that there's a global pandemic happening. Everyone is feeling the weight of this, and we are all in this together. And as well, if you're wondering how you can do someone else a favor, call your friend, message your friend, FaceTime your friend, check up on your friends. Don't forget to do that, and it can make the difference. So I would say for myself, I've said to myself, especially at a time like this of heightened anxiety, I really like trying to make sure I look after my mental and physical health. I hope that that was useful for you. Again, to reiterate, this is anecdotal, how I've coped with my anxiety and health anxiety over the years. This has been like years of advice in the making. Please leave some tips down below of how other people can cope or what you've been doing to cope. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We're all gonna get through this together. Bye.